A father and son's bond should never ever be severed. It's a special bond, just like a mother with her daughter, or either a mother with her son. Very important bonds happen throughout family history. Whether you're closer with your own sibling more so than you are your own parent, or you're closer with a parent than you are your own sibling, it's because of the different bond that you create with them. Sometimes the bond can be very much stronger than anything, and sometimes, in most cases, the bond can be severed at some point, really making the person regret their decisions. But this is a story of one bond between a father and his son, to where the father seeks vengeance for his son after what happened one unfortunate Christmas day. This is a story of his quest for vengeance and his quest for revenge. This is a story of his own Silent Night. Season's greetings, listeners of my universe and Might Nerdy, and welcome to Christmas in July. We're technically doing it today early because Christmas is on the 25th of December and today's the 24th, but shut up. And we're not taking a look at anything crappy like we did last time with Call Me Claus, which I still have nightmares about. No, instead we're going to the John Woo action adventure side of things with Silent Night. I remember hearing about a couple times. I think I saw a trailer once on YouTube and then never heard about it again. Until just recently. I actually picked this up in a place where I live, where it was basically for free, just like when I reviewed Deadpool. It was for free. So here we have Silent Night, starring Joel Kinnaman, whom most people might remember from Suicide Squad and The Suicide Squad, and directed by John Woo. And if nobody knows who John Woo is, I sincerely feel sorry for you, and I can't help you. He's a very creative and visionary director, and if you don't know what he's worked on, just go to IMDb, look up John Woo, John, his last name is spelled W-O-O, and just take a look at his film history. But here we have Silent Night, a Christmas thriller, no doubt, but one that's done completely without any dialogue hardly in it, very much like A Quiet Place. So, does this measure up to A Quiet Place? Well, we'll have to see. So, how did one father get revenge for his son one unfortunate Christmas day? Well, have yourselves a very bloody Christmas. And let's dive into Silent Night and see how this father's quest for vengeance came to be. On a fateful Christmas day, a family is spending their Christmas together. Their young son just got a new bicycle, and so he's playing around with it and having a fun time with his family. But fate has an untimely finger. A game war breaks out, and unfortunately for the couple, the young son was shot, and unfortunately he was killed. Enraged by what happened, the father tried to go and hunt down the criminal that shot his son, but unfortunately he would find not a good thing that happened to him in the end of it. For the father eventually caught up with the criminal, but for good measures he got a bullet straight to his throat, which should have killed him, but amazingly he survived the impact and the wound. However, the man can no longer speak, now becoming a mute and basically lost his will to speak, but he hasn't lost the will for vengeance that he wants to impart for his son. As the man slowly plots his own revenge, plots his own vengeance, and eventually decides that he's going to get his revenge exactly 1 year from this day, Christmas Day. As the man takes an entire year to train in order to figure out how to kill people, and exactly that's what he does. He does his own training and decides to get his own revenge. And when December 24th, 2022 rolls around, it's finally time for the father to get vengeance against his son and take back what was taken from him, his boy. As he goes on a holiday vengeance spree and a holiday killing spree in order to get revenge for his son that was murdered, and then eventually so he can have closure on his life knowing what he'd done.
Okay, I've got like a million questions, but mostly what?
And that's seriously the whole plot of Silent Night. No, really, I have just summarized all of Silent Night in exactly pretty much 5 minutes. That's a world record on this channel. Now, don't get me wrong, just because I quickly summarized the movie as quickly as it began, don't get me wrong, it's still a damn decent movie, but that's pretty much it.
Gotta be fucking kidding.
This movie is only a little over half an hour long, but don't get me wrong, it's a good damn half an hour long, and it's very engaging, and John Woo told a very good story. And I love how this film capitalizes on something that does sometimes happen during one of the happiest times of the year. Of course, dealing with something like such a tragic such as loss. This is a father whose entire life went down the shitter as soon as it began. He wanted to have a happy life. He wanted to have happy memories, but then he lost it all very quickly. It was just that one unfaithful, shitty day when a game war went wrong, and unfortunately his son was caught in a crossfire and died due to, well, what happened. As he can't deal with the loss, he can't deal with the struggles that happened to him. All he can do is just try to accept what happened and try to move on from the bad experience. But of course, for this father, he took a page right out from the Punisher's War Journal and decided that going on a vengeance murder spree is exactly the right kind of answer that you'd like to do.
Behind your back.
And if you think I'm joking, no, I am dead fucking serious that Silent Night feels like John Woo directed a Punisher movie. But it's Christmas theme related. I am so not kidding. Think of the Punisher's origin, and then think of what I said in this. A father just recently witnessed his son get brutally executed, basically during like a game war slash mob war, if you want to say it like so, and for good measures, the father is believed to be killed for it, but he goes after revenge for his fallen family. Gee, a father who goes on a request revenge spree, not for his own family, but in a sense his son, and ends up going on a vengeance murder spree where he should be killed and somehow miraculously comes out dead and alive. There's a certain superhero from the Marvel Universe that I could think of that just pales in comparison to what it's belonged to. I can't put my Skull t-shirt on it, but there's a Marvel anti-hero who goes around and punishes people. Joking aside, I swear to God that John Woo took inspiration from the Punisher or anyone that wrote this movie, whoever was the writer, and went, we need something tragic for the holidays. Can't pick on Batman, that already happened so many times. I'll come back to that in just a bit. But we need some sort of a hero or anti-hero that we can really much relate to. And I think that probably somebody's son over in the corner is reading like a Punisher comic book and he goes, that's exactly what we need, and nobody stopped him from doing so. Because Silent Night definitely feels like a Punisher story. So much so that there's actually a Punisher story. No, I'm not kidding. I would love to review it for Christmas at some point just because it's funny and also really bad. It's called Punisher Silent Night. Gee, I wonder if there's any comparison for the two of these. Because I really do honestly mean this, it feels like the Punisher, just in a more Christmas sense. For those of you that can't connect the dots, let me just tell you again what happened to this father, what he does, and then pull comparison to the Punisher now. A father, one fateful Christmas day, just so happened to be spending time with his family. That is until he sees his little son murdered in front of him due to and because of a game war. So the father sets out on a quest for vengeance and a quest for revenge, taking all the gang members, trying to get all their information, just so he can get his revenge for himself and his family. Which is exactly what happened to the Punisher in his movie. He goes on a family trip, his entire family is slaughtered before his eyes, and then he goes on a revenge spree for his family. So essentially, the team and John Woo basically decided, what if the Punisher's origins happened during Christmas? And this is basically what this film is. Is that a bad thing? No. It's actually pretty damn decent and pretty impressive how they handle it, especially during a happy time of year, and really coming to terms with something that not a lot of people go through during the holiday loss, and the pretty traumatic things that happen with it. While we can all associate Christmas as a happy time of year, we always have to remember that for some people, it's not as happy as it sounds. It can be traumatic, it can be dark, and sometimes it can be pretty depressing, depending on the person. So, if Silent Night is basically the Punisher origin story done in Christmas, it did better than every adaptation that they try to do with Batman during the holidays because they just decide that Batman always needs to lose his parents. The only adaptation that did the story well was Batman Returns, a movie so beautifully crafted, also explaining Bruce's loneliness during the holidays. It's so damn good, you can't repeat the formula. And the same is here with Silent Night. If this was basically the Punisher's origin story in Christmas, it did it very well. It did it nice and beautifully, it told the story very well done, and it impacts you very, very heavily pretty much early on in the film because we told the origin of what happened at about 20 minutes in, so you really do get invested by this point. The film was only 104 minutes long, so pretty much you can finish it very easily. It's a little over 2 hours long. However, it moves at a very fast pace, and the film, and the reason why you haven't heard any sound bites from it, is because the film is done almost entirely in silence, very much like A Quiet Place. Although, whereas A Quiet Place is done quietly to build suspense for the audience, Silent Night is done to basically represent the father's trauma and his depressing time. Basically, if he didn't get shot in the voice, he lost his voice because the voice in this movie represents his happiness, represents what he had before, his son. And losing both came at a great cost. But then he gets his revenge spree. I won't spoil the ending for anybody that wants to see this movie, but I can say it's a pretty impactful moment. Just make sure that you can either read really quickly or you pause the movie to read the letter at the end. It's a pretty impactful moment. And not to sound like a broken record, but if this was supposed to be a Punisher Christmas movie, oh, it succeeds where Batman adaptations have failed. And in case you're wondering, oh yeah, this December we're gonna get back into Batman. Let that sink in so people can try to guess what Batman related thing I'll be talking about for Christmas this coming year, December, which is just right around the corner, believe it or not. But for what it's worth, Silent Night is a really damn good movie, and especially for me, as a huge comic book nerd, feels like the Punisher's origin just told during Christmas. It's a well done movie and well beautifully captured, and John Woo did a tremendous job at doing so. Would I compare Silent Night to something like Violent Night? No, not nearly as enjoyable, but still leaves a damn good impact. Like for enjoyable, good movies for the holiday, that's not exactly like Christmas oriented. You'd want something like Violent Night, Nightmare Before Christmas, or even Gremlins. Maybe if you're considerate for it, maybe even Jingle All the Way. Silent Night, not so much. It's like one of those movies that you want to put on just to enjoy, kind of like Charles Bronson's Death Wish, but it doesn't have the same impact as Death Wish would. So my Funko Pop rating of Silent Night would have to get the rating of an Etrigan, as it kind of changes its form to what it wants to be, but then it mostly stays focused on the impact that it wants to deliver, especially with a dark and traumatic story. So for Silent Night, my Funko Pop rating is an Etrigan the Demon. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like, share, comment, subscribe, hit that bell icon to be notified every single time I upload, and follow me at Twitter with the link in the description down below. Be sure to share these videos around the web. Share the channel around the web, and if you want to help the channel and support it grow, you can do so by liking, sharing, commenting, and hitting that bell icon so you never miss a video. And tell me your own opinions on Silent Night if you've seen it, or if you haven't seen it, did I enchant you to see it? Because seriously, it's like The Punisher, but Christmas origin. Let that sink in. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I believe the first time we're to keep it on. And well, we're past Christmas in July for this time around. But we'll be back in Christmas in good due time towards November. But next time we're going back into Spider-Man territory because brand new day is still upon us. And there's a Spider-Man villain that we have not seen in movie form yet. So come back next time as we travel back to the 60s for the origin of the Scorpion. Till next time.